We are Locked on Houston Astros, and we hope that you join us for a daily Locked on Astros podcast. My name is Eric Heisman. You can find me on Twitter at Eric Talk Stros. You can find the show at Locked on Astros. Your team every day. Brett, where can they find you on Twitter?
They can find me at H-Town Wheelhouse on Twitter and at Stros411 on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Always positive, always Stros.
All right, so we're going to be talking a lot about Carlos Correa getting snubbed about the Gold Glove. Do they really watch the games, the people that vote for this? I mean, JP Crawford, who the heck is he? I know who he is, but who the heck is he? Anyway, this pisses me off. And then I know we don't even know who the president is now. We're not talking about it on show. It's just frustrating that this is day 2 and we still don't know who the president is. And the people across baseball don't think George Springer is the top free agent out there. Wow, we got a lot to talk about and not much to talk about tonight. So today's episode is brought to you by Built Bar. Go to builtbar.com and use the promo code Locked On and get 20% off your next order. And don't forget, you can find Locked On Astros on Apple, any place you listen to your podcast. Just search Locked On Astros and you'll see us there. I'm sure you'll see our smiling faces if you search on the internet and all that stuff. So let's go and get this show started. Brett, Carlos Correa, did he deserve to win the Gold Glove?
Yes, I mean this is not the only controversial thing going on with elections. I think this was stolen from Carlos Correa
and rigged.
JP Crawford. Rigged. JP Crawford, it was rigged. It was rigged. It was stolen.
The mail ballots were
when they were tallying the DRS, someone gave JP Crawford a couple extra defensive runs saved. And we have got to take this to the Supreme Court because we know that Carlos Correa is we know that Carlos Correa is hands down the best shortstop. Now, I will say this. It was a 60-game season, and if they are only going off 100% DRS, and JP Crawford actually had what was called a negative 6 DRS, I believe it was. No, 9 DRS at shortstop. That means that Crawford racked up 6. Oh, hold on. After accounting for a negative DRS at shortstop the last 3 seasons, he had a 6 DRS in 2020. I had read that wrong. So he had 6 quote-unquote defensive runs saved. Here's the thing. JP Crawford is actually a very good shortstop. He's young, but it was a 60-game season. I would normally have a problem with this if there's this 162-game season and there were votes and there were all these other things combined. But this was a perfect formula for a guy like JP Crawford. I was surprised, Eric, that Yuli Gurriel did not win. Of course, again, I know it's off a defensive run saved, but I feel that Yuli Gurriel is one of the best fielding first basemen in the league. And Houston fans feel like they got snubbed. I was shocked that you didn't see George Springer in there. George Springer, I don't know if you know this, and I mentioned this the other day on the podcast, he was the only Astros player to have a 1,000 fielding percentage. Like, he didn't have a single error, a single drop, or anything all season long. But apparently he didn't have, quote unquote, enough defensive runs saved. So, that's the flaw in the system this year. It's simply because it's a shortened season. But it doesn't take away from the guys who won it. They deserved it. They're the winners. But if we could go back and we could recount the tally or add things to the tally or add votes to the Carlos Correa's total, I think Carlos Correa would win. See what I'm saying? I think Carlos Correa could actually win and would win this in a 162-game season because, dude, he was phenomenal at shortstop once again.
All right, so you can find him on Twitter at H-Town Wheelhouse, and you can throw any concerns his way about him rooting for JP Crawford. And I just...
Here's the thing. You always say that like that's a bad thing. I don't know if you've known this, but I've actually gained about 100 followers in the last few weeks. So, you know what? Keep throwing my name out there. I think the fans like what I bring. they like that we give each other crap every once in a while on the show, and I get it. But dude, I'm not shy of my opinions, and I know what's going on around the world. But Isaiah Kiner Falea for the
Falefa.
for the
Falefa.
Falefa,
Falefa.
whatever.
Yeah.
Falafel. Is he a falafel? Anyways, so this guy wins a Texas Ranger. I mean, Javier Baez. I mean, you've got some names here. Colton Wong, very good. Cesar Hernandez, Anthony Rizzo. So, I mean, you've got some good, solid names up there. It just stinks that you didn't have any winners. I believe all the Astros that were nominated all got second place. Am I correct on that?
I'm not sure. Wasn't Tucker on that list too?
I yeah, I'm trying to I'm only finding the winners on the list that I'm looking at, but I could have sworn the other day when I was looking at the
It
list
was Tucker, I
that
thought.
okay.
Because I
And
remember saying that, this is a guy that Astros fans said were the worst at defense and was at the worst at defense. And now he was among the winners, the finalists, and not even somebody like Martin Maldonado. Martin Maldonado caught more games than anybody else. He was very instrumental to any success. So if you're an Astros fan and you were frustrated with Kyle Tucker's defense to start off his career, how about you have a Built Bar? A Built Bar will make you not so stressed out. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about that, Brett.
okay, Built Bar is a protein bar that tastes like a candy bar. So so let's just call it the top candy bar on the market. Why? Because it's packed with protein. It doesn't have a ton of calories. It doesn't have a ton of carbs, and it doesn't have a ton of sugar. Eric, I got this box in of this special pumpkin spice flavor, and in it, I got a sample of this caramel apple, and I had it today with my mid morning snack. Oh my gosh, like I was stressed out from school and everything else. I had that Built Bar, and dude, it like calmed me down. It filled me. I didn't get a sugar rush, and it's great for the healthy conscious guy or girl. It's great if you're on a keto diet, trying to lose weight, trying to stay trim, maintain whatever. So that's what you need to do. Go to builtbar.com right now. Put in the code locked on. You'll get 20% off your first order. While supplies last, you'll get a small little pouch to put your Built Bar in so you keep it cool, take it to work, take it out of the wrapper, eat it, enjoy it. Everybody's like, what are you eating? Oh, it's a Built Bar. And then you can share the code with them. They can save 20%. Go to builtbar.com. Use the promo code locked on for 20% off. The best bar in the business, builtbar.com.
All right. So we kind of talked about the Gold Glove, and I think that we have some other potential winners. And Christian Javier, I guess he is our last hope for an Astro to win this award this offseason. But the Astros weren't really a great team. I know they had a great run in the playoffs, but if you look at their overall record, you can see why people are kind of not dissing the Astros, but not really giving them a lot of credit. Because if I remember correctly, these things were mostly decided before the postseason. And so this is they don't take into consideration what happened there. So I was thinking the other day, I remember saying on a podcast, I think that George Springer is the best free agent out there. And I saw an article by Mark Feinstein, I think that's his name, on MLB. And he did a poll of the most important people in baseball, and that's the executives, the ones who pay the big dollars, the ones who go out and sign those free agents. And here's what the results were. The top four: JT Realmuto had 10 votes. Tyler Trevor Bauer, whatever his name is, had 6 votes. George Springer had 4 votes. And the AL MVP, DJ LeMahieu, had 1 vote.
Interesting.
Okay. So that was very interesting that somebody who won the MVP, he was the best player in the National American League, actually finished 4th on the list. And a lot of people, like, they actually interviewed some of the people, and they said that the reason why JT Realmuto is up there is he is literally the best catcher, not just on the free agent market, but possibly in baseball. So he is the top catcher out there. So he's very athletic. He is Craig Biggio if Biggio didn't go to second base. He still has athleticism. He can still hit homers. He can still steal bases. So he's the all around package. And so I can see why a GM would go out there and spend big bucks on JT Realmuto. Trevor Bauer, I know he might get into some trouble off the field, just like sliding people's DMs and just I'm kidding about slide, but you know what I mean. But just going off on Astros fans, yeah.
Harassing people on Twitter. Yes,
But
yes,
he is a good pitcher. He is a very good pitcher, and we'll read some of that stuff in a second. Springer, one executive said that the combo of a premium bat at a premium position is hard to pass. He's the type of player who would immediately be one of the two or best three players on whatever team he signs. He can hit anywhere in the lineup, and you can pencil him into center field every day. That's quite a luxury. So, and also he said that even though he's, another one said, even though he's 31 years old, he can play that position for years to come. And a lot of people, so this person was concerned with Realmuto. He said, yes, while he's still semi-young, he's playing at an aging position. We know catching, their shelf life is not as long as a second baseman. That's why they moved Biggio over. And so any thoughts so far about that?
No, I just I think it's odd that DJ LeMahieu only got one vote, to be real honest with you. And I'm surprised that Springer wasn't over Bauer, maybe because Bauer had a better season. Overall, pitching wise, he made more noise with his time. I mean, he's a Cy Young vote, a Cy Young finalist this year. And I don't know if Trevor Bauer would be a Cy Young finalist for a full season. No offense, Trevor, if you're listening, which I doubt it. But if you are, you can come on the show. We'd love to have you. But George Springer, to me, is one of the most valuable. And how interesting is this, that the Houston Astros could be basically swapping center fielders with the Red Sox by default, where the Astros sign the free agent Jackie Bradley Jr. and George Springer goes to Boston. And you would have to be a real nerd not to think that that's kind of cool. And so if y'all are watching the video, you know what I'm talking about. Anyways, now here's the thing. I'm going to ask you this, Eric. I want to go off script a little bit because I think that those votes and those people saying those things, that's all subjective. Like you and I could go back and forth with why we think this person's better, this person's more valuable. I think George Springer is the most valued free agent in the market, simply because of what he offers offensively and defensively, more so than JT Realmuto. But JT as a backstop is very valuable. Who ages quicker, JT or Springer? They're both at vulnerable positions where they have a lot of potential for injury.
Right.
But think about this. There's been a lot of talk, and there's been more, I say a lot, there's been more talk about who the Astros are going to get in the outfield. Is there a possibility that the Astros could field an outfield of Kyle Tucker, Jackie Bradley Jr., and Marcell Ozuna?
No.
Is there a way for them? But listen, they're one of the 8 suitors for him. Why wouldn't they bring him in, backload his contract, and pay him? I think there's a possibility that you could make it happen, and that would be, Eric, that'd be a strong outfield, man.
Where do you see that he's a suitor? Is this
on
the rumors?
This is on MLB.com. The likely suitors, the Astros are 6 out of 8, but they are 6th, and we do know that they do have some room. They may have a little bit more room than the 19 that is projected, because they can always go up to like right under 208 million or is it maybe 211 this year. But I think putting him in the outfield might be kind of cool. Like at first I was like, no, I don't want him. He's too expensive, but he's really not for what you're getting. You could get him for a 3-year deal. You could sign him for 60 mil. You could backload his contract. There's ways to do that.
But you
But I
can't
think,
get both. That's what I'm trying to say. There's no way you can get
but
Jackie
Jack,
Bradley Jr. It doesn't matter, Brett. Even if you go out there and give all your money that you have available to get Osuna in, that's
okay,
you're not going to have anything left. And I mean, it's not going to be 20. It's going to be a little bit more than it's going to be like around 20 to 23 million AAV. That's what it's going to
okay,
take to get somebody like Marcelo Osuna. He had statistically, he probably had a better year than George Springer did. So, but so this guy, I know he's a little bit, I think he's older than Springer, but I could be wrong. But there's no way you can look at me straight in the face and say, you're getting them both because that's a pipe dream.
hey, I'm in America. I'm all about pipe dreams. Listen, hey, you know what? We are here to give the fans what they want to hear. Maybe not necessarily a dose of reality. Sometimes we need a little bit extra of, you know what? Let's go out and do it. Screw it. Screw conventional thinking. Let's just go get this person. You know what I'm saying? Um, I don't know, because I think Jackie Bradley Jr. comes in at a fairly low price.
Yes,
He's
yes,
he's
but
not that
it's not going to
much.
be a million. He's not. This is not
Dude,
a. This is not a Josh Reddick. This is a guy that's gonna. He's not gonna demand anywhere close to Springer or Ozuna. I'm not gonna argue there. You're not gonna get him for 2 million, 3 million, or 4 million. You're gonna have to
well,
give up at least 8 to 11 million for him.
you know what? I'm going to see what Sportrack says about his market value, because Marcelo Zuna comes in right at 20.1 million for
Yeah,
his.
but that's before people bid on him.
Well, I'm just giving you. And well, okay, so Jackie Bradley's is, they're saying, a 2-year, $22 million contract.
So
Okay, you
exactly
know
where I
what?
was.
Oh, whatever. Screw it. Let's just go spend. I just want to spend money. It's not my money. It's Crane's money. But hey, Astros fans, don't you agree? Wouldn't that be a great outfield? Okay, maybe it's not feasible. But would you take Ozuna over Bradley if
Yes,
you could get Ozuna?
but who's going to play center field? I think if I
Miles
remember,
Straw.
then you're
Just you asked me.
yeah.
It's Miles
So
Straw. I mean, Miles
yeah, I
Straw
know.
is going to be your center fielder, and here's the thing. Miles Straw, while he doesn't excite a lot of people in the outfield, his speed and I mean, he's so young, and to me he seems like a go-getter, to where he seems like the kind of player that could improve. I don't, he's not going to be a Jake.
I'm not even dissing on him. His defense.
Okay,
Just more. He just doesn't scare. He doesn't excite me as an offensive player, and maybe he'll come out and I'll have to eat my words later. But he may be put in a big role. But how about this? Azuna and Jake Marisnik. Now that's a little bit intriguing because maybe I put
that would be intriguing. Yeah, I like that.
bring back
Jake,
the flock. What do they call his hair? That little
the flow. I don't know.
I
I,
forgot
I
what
just
I
I
know
just know
that ladies
chicks dig
love
it.
them some Jake Marisnik. And if you love talking about some Astros baseball, why don't you listen to the Locked On Astros podcast daily? We talk about all the good looking Astros players. And
Okay.
yeah, sorry.
This got strange really quick.
Yes.
I talked to Eric tonight before we came on. I was like, we're debating, hey, when do we want to do this show? How long? And I said, well, you know what? The people need a distraction. I don't think they need that kind of distraction. Maybe our female fans maybe one day you can do a solo show, kind of like Sunny 99.1 does with like Zoe Bonet. Like, hey there, tonight,
I just
Jake
come in with an
Marisnik.
accent or something, and I just kind of give all helter skelter or something.
You sound like.
What?
Have you ever seen Zach Galifianakis, The Purple Onion? Have you
No,
ever
I
seen
have
that?
not.
Okay. Your homework. Go to Netflix. Go watch Zach Galifianakis, Purple Onion.
You are
He has
listening to Locked On
listen.
Astros
No,
podcast.
listen,
This is
listen.
all
It's
for
okay.
today's show.
It's all good. Listen. No, listen. He plays his brother, and his brother's name is Seth, and he talks like this, and he goes, I'm Seth, and I'm a youth pastor, and I've never been as popular as Zach, but we've had our differences, but dude, it's hilarious. It's like, okay, now that we started the interview, are you going to say lights, camera, action? Like the movie stars do. And when you said that voice, I was like, dude, you are freaking, you are you are Zach's brother, man. You need to go watch that. So write down The Purple Onion. Go watch it. It's one of the funniest stand-ups I've seen probably ever. So
Alrighty, so we may have a guest on tomorrow's podcast, and I'm waiting to confirm that. But until then, keep on rocking your Astros gear and go Astros in 2021. And if you work at a post office, thank you very much, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.